What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Now, this video, I think I'm a little bit behind on. I think I should have made a video on this before because I've done a lot of mock offseason, a lot of mock drafts. I've talked about a lot of different things, but this is something that I need to touch on, and I've touched on it a little bit within videos, but I think it needs its own video, so let's get it started. Going to be looking at one of my favorite prospects in the 2020 draft and my favorite running back in the 2020 draft. If you guys have watched my mock off seasons, my mock drafts, you guys would know that I love the thought of Jonathan Taylor being a Detroit Lions. I just think Jonathan Taylor is so great, okay? I think he's so good. And after seeing what Saquon Barkley did when he went to the Giants, a guy like Jonathan Taylor is just always so intriguing. Now, Jonathan Taylor has been one of my favorite prospects, and I've always thought that he would be a great pick in the second round. Even though running back isn't anywhere near our biggest need, a second-round pick like Jonathan Taylor would allow us to possibly move Kerryon Johnson and make him our number one running back and have a great running back, which we really haven't had, a durable, a healthy, a just ridiculously good running back in college. That was a high pick in the draft. I mean, Kerryon Johnson was good in college. Don't get me wrong. He was a second-round pick for a reason. But, man, he was not Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor looks like he could be a second-round pick. This could be the perfect opportunity for us to go get the best running back, I believe, that's going to be available in the draft. Now, I did put out a video where I talked about Dion Lewis, and there was reports that the Lions are probably going to make a play for him. And some people weren't happy with that. And look, it's just a report. I was just trying to give you guys a report. So I don't know what's going to happen. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean we're going to sign him. It was just a report. But I will say that if there's one running back that I would draft, and I would say then you could trade Kerryon. You don't need to, you can forget about all of that. It's Jonathan Taylor. Now, trust me, there's other running backs out there I like. I love the thought of J.K. Dobbins. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I love the thought of some of the later round running backs, A.J. Dillon, Zach Moss. DeAndre Swift, honestly, isn't bad. He's looked at as maybe the best running back available. But this dude, he's kind of slept on in my eyes. And there's a few reasons why. But at the same time, he is so good. I mean, this guy is sometimes recognized as the best college football running back ever. We could have that guy on our team in the second round. Think about that. Let's get this video started, all right? So we're going to be talking about Jonathan Taylor, the running back out of Wisconsin, who's 5'11", 214 pounds, and like I said, kind of recognized as the best, maybe the best running back in college football history. He came out of high school as a 3-star recruit, and he decided to go to Wisconsin over Rutgers. He decommitted from Rutgers, went to Wisconsin. That was a good decision. Well, I don't know if it was a good decision. It's been a while to see him at Rutgers. He probably would have transferred. But he went to Wisconsin. And we know Wisconsin hasn't really had a passing threat, right? I mean, think about it for a second. How many Wisconsin quarterbacks can you name, honestly? Other than Wisconsin fans. I know there's a couple Wisconsin fans, so get out of here. Other than Wisconsin fans, right? Hornibrook. I name a couple, but like, come on, man, not a lot. They're a running football team. Even Wisconsin fans will tell you they're a running football team. Why? Because they have a guy like this, Jonathan Taylor. Let's look at this number real quick. This is a stat. Let me just paint this picture for you. Everybody knows Herschel Walker, right? 1980s running back, looked at as maybe the best running back in college football history. He had 5,596 rushing yards in his first 3 years. Jonathan Taylor broke that record. In his first 3 years, he had 6,174 rushing yards. 6,000 yards in 3 years. 6,000 in the league, in football now, that's all about passing, right? 6,000 rushing yards in the Big Ten. 6,000. I can't even get over that. That's not like, oh, I play a little school that's dominated. No, you're at Wisconsin. You're playing in one of the best conferences you can. You're playing Michigan. You're playing Ohio State. You're playing Michigan State. You're playing Iowa. You're playing Northwestern. You're playing some of the better teams that are out there. And I bring up Northwestern because Northwestern was the best team in that side a couple of years ago. This guy is putting up over 6,000 yards in 3 years. So he definitely has the talent, all right? He's got the speed. This guy was a track champion, a 100-meter champion back in high school. So some people think, oh, he's just a big running back. He was a champion, a 100-meter champion in high school. He's expected to have somewhere around the 4.4 40-yard dash. He's going to do his 40-yard dash very soon in the combine. He's got the speed. He's smart. He's one of the smartest players. He goes to Wisconsin, a very smart school. He's one of the smartest running backs. He's so good. And obviously, you wouldn't put up 6,000 rushing yards if you weren't very smart. He can read holes. He's got the vision. He can do everything. He's a 3-down running back who I know a lot of people want to see. We don't want these little, throw in third down, first down. No. We want a 3-down running back that we can consistently rely on. That's this guy. Now, there are a couple of concerns, and let's get into those before we get too hyped. And let's take a breath. Let's go through some of the bad things. The first concern is fumbling. And as a freshman, he had 8 fumbles, which after Jonathan Taylor talked about it, he said, yeah, freshman year was pretty bad. He said he fumbled a lot freshman year. And you know what? I'm not even mad about that one too much. Did he get better? Well, as a junior, he cleaned it up. I mean, not as junior. Sophomore, he cleaned it up, he said. Only 4 fumbles as a sophomore, which isn't bad when I talk about how many carries that he had. He's the most heavy workload type of running back that you will find. He was completely just getting carries, getting touches all of the time. It's not a passing school. Wisconsin ran the football. You play Wisconsin, who's getting the ball? It's Jonathan Taylor. Could you stop him? Maybe not. Because he was like that. You knew he was getting the football. So he got so many carries that he was bound to fumble a few times. When I talk about how many carries he got, you'd be shocked. And in his junior season, he had 6 fumbles. And he said, you know what, he took a couple steps back there, unfortunately. Sometimes it was trying to fight for extra yards because you had to be really sound with that. And also, he said there was a few on like wildcat plays when they just kind of went wrong. So yes, 6 fumbles, a little bit cautious, but keep in mind, he had 926 carries in those 3 years. 970 total touches. Now, in today's football league, like I said, with the Detroit Lions, we're not just a ground-heavy team. We have Matthew freaking Stafford. We're going to throw the ball. So can he catch the ball in the backfield? Well, that's where the concern comes in. Can he catch the ball in the backfield? Because he didn't have a lot of receptions, only 42 receptions in 3 years. However, in his junior year, he started to get receptions going. In his junior year alone, 26 of those 42 receptions came. 26 of the 42 receptions came in his junior year, with 5 of those being touchdowns. So yes, he started to catch the ball in the backfield. It's not like he can't. It's that they didn't do it. They ran the football. They said, Jonathan Taylor, here you go. Go make something happen. This stat, for example, will just completely tell you what I'm saying. He has never had back-to-back games with less than 110 rushing yards in that game. So if he had one game where he only ran 50 yards, next game, he was not going under 110-yard rushing. He was bouncing back in a big way. Never had back-to-back games with less than 110 yards rushing. Are you kidding? Like, what? Come on, man. We don't even have 100 rushers. Not only be wrong, college a lot different. I mean, one big play changes everything. But that's consistently getting big plays. Like, if you look at it and say, well, he's just a big play. He's just a big play kind of guy, right? Okay, like, I'm good with that. He could be a big play kind of guy. Because you have 6,000 rushing yards, and you're consistently making big plays, that's a good thing, right? You know the run's coming and you're consistently having big plays. That doesn't matter to me. There's a reason you're consistently having those, because you're doing something right. Jonathan Taylor is an absolute beast. In his freshman season, he averaged 6.6 yards per carry. In his sophomore season, 7.1 yards per carry. And in his junior season, 6.3 yards per carry. Dude, I can't. The Lions have never had that great of running back since really Barry Sanders, right? They had some guys here that unfortunately with injuries, Java Best. We've seen some glimpses from carry-on injuries. Injuries again with Java Best. We've seen those. But now you're getting a guy that doesn't have that background. He's a durable running back. Now, what's the other concern with him? Their concern is he was overworked. A lot of people would say that in past running backs would be overworked. That's why they would struggle in the NFL. They'd get hurt or something because they were overworked. Jonathan Taylor, like I said, 970 total touches. That's definitely a concern. But like he said about his coaches there, he said, they prepared him to get hit and take those hits. Now, I know people look at it and say, hey, running backs only can take so many hits and that's it. Which, honestly, I think at some point is true. However, we don't know when that point is. All we know is what we know. And up to this point, he has had a lot of carries, but he's also been healthy, okay? And he's been healthy. He's got the speed. He's got the top-end speed that Kerryon really doesn't have. Kerryon's pretty elusive. He doesn't have that top-end speed. He's elusive. He's got the vision. He could do everything. I think he's the best running back in this draft. And if it wasn't for him being overworked or if he was on a better team, this dude would be... I mean, are you serious? This dude's the best... This dude could be the best... You could make the argument this guy's the best running back in college football history. Ever, like history. And he could be a second-round pick. Why could he be a second-round pick? Because he's not believed to be the top running back in the draft. Because other teams won other things. There's nothing wrong with that. Guys that are listed ahead of him. I mean, by Pro Football Focus, he was ranked the 3rd best. By Bucky Brooks, he was ranked the 5th best running back coming out of the draft. The 5th. He put 4 guys ahead of him. J.K. Dobbins consistently goes up there. We see DeAndre Swift up there. We see Zach Moss up there sometimes. But yet, Jonathan Taylor is a guy that I would take. And if he fell there in the 2nd round, I'd move Kerryon and say, boom, you're number 1. Or you can keep Kerryon. You can. But then you got to move someone else. Can't have that many running backs. I'd probably move Kerryon, try to get a pick back in return. And you know what? Hey, we got one of the best running backs, and we're going to give that to Stafford. Could you imagine this for a second? Let's just think about this. You're going to take away a lot of that workload that he had in Wisconsin, and you're not going to give it to him as much because you are a team that can pass so well. Wisconsin couldn't pass the football. Think of Jonathan Taylor in your backfield with a team that can throw the football. For example, if you put Jonathan Taylor on a really good passing team, what would happen? Think of it this. Saquon Barkley's with the Giants. They're not a very good passing team, right? Daniel Jones, he's all right, I guess. He's still very young. They had to go to Saquon. He was still balling out. Give Saquon to Matthew Stafford? Oh, snap. Maybe his yards aren't 2,000 because he doesn't get enough carries. But his yards per carry are way up. And the threat of running the football, the play action goes way up. Dude, I'm telling you, this dude would be absolute freak. Now I'm under the mindset that, hey, you got to go offensive line. Offensive line is the most important. But that doesn't mean you can't get a running back. That nowhere does that say, hey, you can't get a running back. Say we trade Kerryon, we get a 4th. use it. But seriously, getting a running back isn't always a terrible thing. We saw the rankings. They're ranked the 11th best offensive line unit. 11th. They have holes, but they were ranked 11th. So you bring back Glasgow. You get a left guard, or you get a tackle. You were ranked 11th. That's probably going to go at least into the top 10. You got a young offensive line. Get a running back there. We were ranked 11th as a unit offensive line. However, we were ranked at the near the bottom of rushing the football. Why? Well, I think at some point you have to look at, okay, who's our running backs? And that's no hate to our guys we have. I want to keep Bo. I think he balled out last year. Showed us a lot of good things. I want to keep Ty Johnson. He was a good, fast pick. But man, Jonathan Taylor is our running back? I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. I know there's bigger needs. There's a lot of things that we have to do. But it's not like you're giving up a first-round pick. I'm saying if he falls to 35 and you're sitting there, and in free agency you got a guard, and in free agency you got a tackle, and maybe you got an edge rusher in the first round or whatever you got, you could look at that pick and say, we can afford to do this because you can't afford to do this getting a running back like that. Not everything needs to be perfect. Jonathan Taylor is the guy I want at running back. There you go. Let's look at some of his awards. He is a two-time Big Ten running back of the year. He is the Big Ten freshman of the year back in 2017. He was a three-time first-team All-Big Ten. He was a first-team All-American in 2018 and 19. The awards just go on and on. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want to know more about him, if you want to see his highlights, look him up. He can do it all. Jonathan Taylor, running back out of Wisconsin. If he falls to second round or pick, I would take him. And that's why I've done it in some mock drafts. People are like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I'm doing it. And then I'm moving carry on. So there you go. Let me hear your thoughts and comments below. I'm not saying we have to do it, but hey, I just wanted to point this out because some people are kind of confused on like, what is my thought of the running back situation? Don't hate it. But if Jonathan Taylor's there, I'd try to move carry on and pick him up. So there you go. Thank you, Pat, for watching, and I'm out.